En momentos de oscuridad y soledad, ¿te has preguntado a dónde puedo ir? Pues bienvenidos a una temporada más de el podcast Aquí Entre Nos. Welcome to your podcast Aquí Entre Nos, where we have opened the doors to unite our people, our community, and to talk about things that matter in our community with our leaders and with people that have a lot to say to you.
And we, of course, have to start saying thank God for giving us the opportunity to be here, and thank all of those who are being working so hard for this to happen. We want to thank the Chamber of Commerce. We want to thank also Eliora Producciones, who has been here with us all this time. And every single person, Joanna, Christian, Diana, all those who are being pushing and working so hard for this dream to come true. But that's not all. I'm gonna read because I don't want to forget anything that I put in this message. So let's try. It says like this: some leaders build systems, others build trust. For over 2 decades, she has built both. As president and CEO of the Washington County Chamber of Commerce, she's helped support over 75,000 jobs and 825 businesses, but her impact goes far beyond economics. She helped write the vision of Hillsborough 2020 to 2035, and she made sure that vision had room for everyone. Because inclusion wasn't just a word, it was a commitment. Thanks to her leadership, the Latino Business Advisory Council was born. New cultural events were created, positions were formed, programs, workshops, and bridges were built. Today, we honor a woman who believed in unity when it wasn't popular, who saw the beauty in diversity long before it was celebrated. So we welcome to Diana Palm.
Oh my goodness. You
Bienvenida.
make me sound so good. Wow, that's lovely. Thank you. And congratulations on
Thank
your
you
podcast.
for being here. We're
My
so
pleasure.
excited
My
today.
absolute pleasure.
First question. I think that there is a lot of people out there that don't know what is the Chamber of Commerce.
That is so true. It's, there's probably one in every community. It's a business organization that supports business, and that's business of all size and all types of ownership, really coming together, creating networking opportunities, collaboration, removing barriers where barriers exist, advocating on behalf of the business community, really providing a voice to the business community, and really helping them to thrive. And whether that's, creating opportunity for them and through education, all business owners, they start because they have a passion around whatever that is, right? And then they figure out, oh, I've got to do payroll, I've got to do marketing, I've got all the other hats that they have to wear. We help them become experts with all those other hats as well.
I think one thing that we forgot to mention is the place that we're at today. We're at M&M Marketplace, and we had the opportunity to interview Jaime, who was one of the first members of the Chambers of Commerce, correct?
That is absolutely correct. I met Jaime, I think 24, I've been at the Chamber for 24 years, and I met Jaime 24 years ago, and I was saying to him the other day that he doesn't look a day older, but yet I do, and I think that's quite frankly unfair. Jaime worked at the Chamber for a bit of time at the same time that he was standing up M&M Marketplace. And so his passion for, creating economic prosperity and providing resources was really my lens into how to do that the right way and how to make sure that we aren't creating barriers within our own organization. So again, that sort of welcoming, making sure that everybody feels like they have a place in a space. Jaime had a lot to do with how we do that work.
And going back to your 20 years of leadership in front of the Chamber of Commerce, what are those moments you kind of go back and reminds you why are you doing this and why you continue doing this?
You know, it's interesting. I say to businesses when we do a ribbon cutting that they only have one first day. So every time I get to do a ribbon cutting, I consider it such a huge honor that we can be a part of that, that this business has invested in our community, that it's going to be providing jobs to our community, it's going to be providing services and resources to our community, and they chose us to do that, and they chose our community to make that place for them. And so to me, every time we get to cut a ribbon, it's like the most honorable thing that we can do.
And this chambers is not just for one city, it's for the whole county
Correct.
of Washington. And so a lot of people have the misunderstanding of that's just the Hillsborough Chambers of Commerce, but we're here to tell you it is for Washington County. So there's a lot of opportunities to growth. There's a lot of people that have put in place all sorts of help for the community, correct? For the business owners. I mean, we have grown so much
And
as
even
Latinos.
though because people is like, oh, but my business is going on very well, or whatever they're thinking about, even though just to go to the meetings and meet new persons that are also in the same struggles and the same victories as you are right now, that's so much like a diamond. That's like so much value that they can get from those meetings. So I highly recommend it. If you are seeing this, I highly recommend you to go to the Chamber of Commerce that you have closest to you. It's going to help you so much to grow. Yes.
That's so true. You know, if you're doing really well and you're growing your business and you're learning new things, we invite you to come and share with those folks that are just emerging, right? You can, and that fills your tank, right?
Yes.
To give that back to someone and to help them and to mentor them, that will fill your tank. If you're struggling, and it's a tough economy out there right now, it's a tough economy. And oftentimes coming to a Chamber of Commerce meeting and talking with other folks that are like, I feel the same way, you don't feel alone. And all of a sudden, you can start to look at solutions rather than problems, right? Because you work together, you talk together, and there's a sense of camaraderie that comes around that and connection. Because if someone has the same shared experience that you have, you don't feel alone. And there's nothing worse in business than feeling like you're out there by yourself. So
Yes.
a Chamber of Commerce will always be a place of which you feel like you're a part of the community.
No man is an island, they said.
I remember when I met this coach and escritora, writer, and the first thing she asked me was, "Are you a member of a Chamber of Commerce?" And I said no. And I start asking, what is it? How does it work? Because she knew.
Right.
And so as a coach, the first thing she told me said, you need to go and meet Joanna. And that's how I met Joanna, actually.
Bless
3
her.
years ago.
That's wonderful. And that's great advice, right?
Yes.
Because it will definitely provide you with that connection to people that have either walked the same path or in the middle of walking the same path. And so they're going to have advice. They're going to have don't step on that landmine. Don't do what I did, right? They're going to have lived experiences that they're going to share with you as an emerging entrepreneur. And I think that's so important. And then you have a place and a space to give that back. And your community just resonates with that. And again, it's from a personal perspective, you really fill your tank by giving back to others, right?
You learn from so many entrepreneurs that have been in business for many years.
Many years.
And
But one thing is that there is nobody who cannot teach you anything. Like there is a lot of people who you see and you learn even the smallest thing with just one conversation, but there is a lot of people who out there who is struggling and can teach you something. Like
correct.
One conversation can change even your business. Like,
Absolutely.
It helped me grow. I mean, I grow. I could say that I went from being a realtor, I went from 0 to like a whole new picture because I started doing a lot of networking and just being involved with the Chambers of Commerce. you get to meet so many people that some of them don't necessarily have a business per se,
Right.
but they are working with the community. They're giving back,
Right.
what they know, and there's a lot of benefits of being part of a Chambers of Commerce, especially the Washington County Chambers of Commerce.
Well, and I think there's a lot of people that are not necessarily type A's, right? They don't necessarily, when you say networking, they're like, oh,
Yeah.
no, I don't want to go talk to a bunch of people. And we're a really great opportunity to kind of ease into that because we have a whole group of ambassadors, and their job is to find somebody that doesn't know anybody else in the room, right? And to introduce them to people. So you don't have to be somebody that's like, I really like talking to people and I love being out there, because not everybody does, and not every entrepreneur wants to be a networker, and
That's true.
right? They're like, I just want to do my stuff in my business, and I don't want to be bothered by, but I know I got to go out and tell people about my business, but that's not the favorite part of my business. And so we can help you figure out how to make that less painful. You may never be somebody that's like, I love going out and finding new people to talk to.
Yeah.
But you'll feel more comfortable. And as you do it more and more and you feel more and more comfortable, you'll start to realize that, that you have changed your perspective on networking, and it's really about just sharing yourself with someone else and having a conversation around, what do you do and how are you doing it, and learning from each other. And it just makes it less barriers. And that's one of the real reasons that, we stood up the Latino Business Advisory Council, was because, I didn't understand that, that there were businesses that were going to maybe the planning department to get plans for for a business that wasn't zoned correctly to be in there. But because there was a language barrier, it was going through, and they were spending a lot of money on things that they couldn't develop there, and nobody was telling them, don't do that. And because of that language barrier, it just became, really difficult. And so my thinking was, how do we remove that barrier? If there's a language barrier, let's figure it out. And again, it helped me understand and realize that, we as an organization have to be open and welcoming to everyone in our community that owns a business, and have to be prepared to help remove those barriers, even ones that we're not familiar with.
I want to acknowledge that you have been creating those spaces. You are being actively pushing for Latino community to have more space to not just grow but express, but have meetings and all this kind of stuff. What does make you believe that there is value there? What do you see?
Oh my goodness. It's the fabric of our community. 20 years ago, I had someone come into my office and meet with me, and they were new to Hillsborough. And again, 20 years ago. And they said, I'm curious why all of your, the government committees and things like that, they always make sure that they have a seat for the Latino community, right? And she said, how come it's not more integrated and natural? And I'm native Oregonian, and I didn't understand. And she said, well, I'm from Houston, Texas, right? And she's like, we don't save seats for our Latino community. They just naturally are part of our community. They're part of our community, right? And I was like, well, that's what we should be as well, right? And it was just this huge awakening for me that we hadn't necessarily moved to a point where our Latino community was an integral part of the fabric of our community, and that we had a role to play in making that happen. And when I look at our events, and I look 20 years ago, and I look today, and I see the diversity of people that are being a part of our organization, that's what fills my tank, right? That's what fills my tank, is that we did it right, that people show up, they feel safe, and they feel like they're in a trusted environment. And that to me is good work that we have done.
Do you think there's still a big gap into the community or the people that have arrived to Oregon and have developed businesses and somehow they're not getting to you guys?
I do. I mean, I still think there's, I wish that there was less work to do. There's more work to do every day, right? There's a lot of organizations that are doing a lot of work, and yet there's still work to be done. So I do think that, working together, sharing the message of what the Chamber does and how we can help and assist, I think is always important. It will never be where we can say, oh, great. I think every single person and every single business that should be a member of the Chamber is a member of the Chamber. That work will never be done. It doesn't matter what culture, how diverse your organization is, there's always going to be that work to be done. Where people are coming from different cultures, where Chamber of Commerce means something different, right? In many of the cultures outside of the United States, a Chamber of Commerce means part of the government, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had to go to great lengths to tell people we're a Chamber of Commerce. We're not with the government.
Yeah.
Because there's a distrust.
In Latin America,
Right.
it's like that.
That's
yes.
what I was going to
Yeah.
go. I was going to say there's a lot of people that have businesses now and they come from South America, Central America,
Right.
and they have the idea of
And
the
I might
chambers of
say,
commerce.
I have businesses back in my country, in Venezuela, and it was part of those layers of complications that you have to go through to actually sell something.
Right.
And here is like, oh, but this is different. This
It's
is like,
different, but we're not going to explain that here
Right.
because we want everyone to get a hold
come
of
talk
the
to us.
chambers
Yes.
and talk to you guys
Yes.
in your own
And there's
language,
so many-
in Spanish, English,
Right.
whether you're young, starting, or in 20 years in the business and you have not have the chance to get a hold of the Chambers of Commerce from Washington County, this is the time. Because now, more than ever, is when we need to
Right.
be together
Right.
with the community.
Right. And I would also say that, it is difficult times, right? And one of the things that our organization can do is really celebrate with our community, right? And tell them that, if there's one thing that I can do to help our Latino community that is suffering right now, it's really talking with your dollar and come and spend your dollars in these businesses. And because they've lost a portion of their customer base
Absolutely,
out of
yes.
fear. And so, I can shop here and not be afraid. Our members can shop here and not be afraid. And so we need to support the Latino-owned businesses in our community because this is if it's difficult economically for every other business, it's
Latino
lot
community,
more.
I
It's
can
gonna
tell you,
get-
is being under attack
right.
because we're in fear. Like,
right.
even
And
those
customers
who-
aren't coming in,
yes,
right?
Customers don't come. We don't want to go out and start selling.
Right.
We're in fear, but remember that we are fearless.
There you go.
Right.
There you go.
And I think
This is
yes,
the fearless place.
right? Yes. And we have a role to play.
Yes.
To to stand up, to speak up, and to show up. And we can do that. And I would always encourage people to do that with their purses, right? With their wallets, because support is great. But actually turning it into commerce. I mean, we're Chamber of Commerce. That's dollars, right? And that's
And I think
important.
that's the ultimate ballot
It is.
which you can use to vote on politics or anything. Like everyone can say anything, but your dollar is going to talk louder.
Yes. Yes.
And so I really appreciate you say that because there is a lot of businesses right now that it actually needs that change of market. It actually needs that we all in this
The
together.
expanded,
Yeah.
right? The expanded marketing. If it's like any business, regardless of whether it's Latino or not, if you lose a good portion of your customer base, you've got to figure out how to backfill that, right? A Chamber of Commerce is a great place to show up and network and say, hey, I've got this business and I need new customers, and let's talk about how I can make you a new customer.
Correct. And use it on social media.
Right.
Yes.
Now more than ever.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's support our Latino communities, or just in general our business.
Yes, yes, absolutely. If a young woman get into your office, in the Chamber of Commerce office, and she's like, unsure if she belongs there, or what is she doing there, what you will say to her? Like, there is a lot of women's entrepreneurs right now that they don't belong to the Chamber of Commerce.
Right.
What would you say to them?
I would say come and visit and try us before you buy, right? Come to a networking event, meet some of our staff, talk about what we're doing, get to know some of our members. And if you like what you see, then join the organization and take advantage of all of the benefits. But I think the best thing to do is really to figure out whether it's a good fit for you. Are you meeting people? Is it, are there meetings that work with your schedule? Does that make sense? And I think it's, learning about, and again, talking to other people at the events and learning what their experience has been, so then you can say, maybe this would be helpful to me. Are there marketing things I can take advantage of? And again, just try it out. And no financial commitment. You can come in, try it out, meet people, learn about it, and then make that decision later on.
Do you have a specific programs for women in the Chamber of Commerce?
We do. We have a women business network, and they meet on a monthly basis. And we were at AR workshop last month doing candle making, and so it's this kind of getting together, doing something fun, and talking, and maybe having a little glass of wine and a little charcuterie. And all of a sudden you're building relationships. So it's not just about business, but it's about doing things together that then bring you together. And now you have not only, someone but you have a friend in business you can call and say, I'm struggling with this. What do you think I ought to do, right? And it's a trusted relationship that you're building. And that's really, referrals. If a good friend of yours comes and asks you and says, I'm looking for somebody that does whatever, right? And you think about it, and then you tell somebody, oh, well, you should contact, right? I always look at that as the virtual Rolodex everybody has in their mind, right?
Yeah.
Of people that you like, you trust, right?
I like that phrase.
I'm kind of old, so Rolodex may not be something everybody can, but it's a little.
I don't know what does that mean.
It's a card holder, right? But you go through that virtual card holder you have in your brain, and I tell our business members, try to get your business card in as many people's virtual Rolodexes as possible. And you do that by building relationships, building trust, and building friendships. And then people are going to refer you. They may not ever use your product or service themselves, but if they know, like, and trust you, they're going to tell someone else that needs your service.
I think people subestimate the importance of relationships when you're doing business. And I read the other day,
especially after COVID.
Especially after
Right.
COVID. But it's been forever. I mean, it is something that one of those things that we are passionate about our business, and we don't know how hard it is to have all these hats in a business. But we should be working on digging our own pozo. What do you say, pozo? Like pozo of water?
Well, yeah.
You have to deal your well before you are thirsty. You have to create those relationships now.
Before you need them.
Before you need them.
Right.
Like, you have to work on those. Even as you say, if you are like, oh, I'm not a person.
Right.
I'm not a relationship person. Well, try it.
Right.
It is part of what you do. It is part of your business. You're not gonna sell even flowers if you don't have relationship with people, because there is 30 persons selling the same flowers. So they are going to buy from the person who already knows.
Exactly. Well, and I think we have a what we call art of effective networking class that we teach. So if people are like, I don't even know what you mean by networking. What does that mean?
Traumatized.
Right? Yes, traumatized. They can come in for an hour-long class and learn, how to go to a networking event, how to get the most out of it, because you're also spending an hour of your time. That's got value to it. So when you leave that networking event, you want to feel like you got a return on that investment of your time.
Yes.
Right? And oftentimes people go to a lot of different networking events, and does it ever really result in business? And if not, what's happening, right? How can you make sure that you're at least walking out with some good, new acquaintances, maybe people that you're adding to your newsletter, that somehow they're sharing that information, but figuring out how do you make the best use of your time at these networking events and make sure that you are actually getting a value out of that time, because your time's valuable.
That's so important.
And I think one thing you mentioned was, having those women events, because sometimes we don't want to be all the time with a bunch of men, sorry. But, we want our space, and we talk about mental health, and we think about money and maybe doctors and all of that stuff, but coming together to have a glass of wine, if you don't drink, to do a painting or just talk about business, that is really healthy for your mental health.
Well, and especially if you're a woman-owned business and you are a mother, right? And you've got 2 or 3 kids, you've got 1 kid, and you're trying to balance the time that you spend with your child with the time that you need to spend with your newest child, your business, right? And how do you balance those things out and still feel good about yourself and not burn yourself out? And there's lots of ways that you can look at balancing, and there's lots of advice that people can give you, and also just to tell you to just take a break, right? Don't do that extra thing at night. Put the computer away and give yourself an hour at night to just be, for you time.
Because your business is just going to be as good as you are.
Exactly. And
Yes.
if you're, running on empty, then your business is going to reflect that. And so making sure, and oftentimes you don't want to talk about that balancing act with a whole bunch of other people. You want to talk about it with people that can relate to the issue that you're having, because they've experienced it.
And mom, as a business person and as somebody who's been in front of an institution so long and go through the ups and downs, those hard and dark moments of your life, and right now we are all in need of this type of advice. What it keep you having hope for the future?
Well, I have 2 kids, and so I will never not say that I hope tomorrow will be better than today. I know we're better than what we look like today. We're better than what's going on today. I know that. I believe that. And I believe in especially the resilience of a small business owner. They are driven to survive. It's like an instinct. They're driven to survive. And so you can throw at them all sorts of problems. How about a pandemic? Okay, we can work, right? We can work through that. We hadn't experienced that. Nobody had the book on the shelf of how do you manage your business through COVID? Nobody did. They do now, but whatever comes next will be different, right? The resiliency is, to me, it's humbling to see all of the things that keep flying at a small business, and they still, again, that sort of desire to survive and that instinct to survive kicks in, and they start, moving around and saying, okay, I can't do it this way anymore. I got to do it over here. The innovation that comes from that is just amazing. And oftentimes out of the darkest, people will come out and say, you know what? I'm really doing so much better and so much different. And had I not gone through that, I wouldn't be in this place today. So the hope for me is that while it's bad when you're in it, when you reemerge, you're going to be better off having gone through it and made it.
So hopefully everybody has a new market.
Right?
Yes.
Exactly.
After all this, like
Right.
we figure out marketing in a way that we never know. Like
Well, and the use of AI, right? Now, all of a sudden, that's a new pivot for people. And oftentimes, it can help grow new markets and help you be more innovative. Especially, if you're struggling, it's hard to kind of be really innovative, and, utilizing AI tools to spur some of that can be really helpful and get you out of, if you're in a slump and you're not figuring out a way to sort of build yourself back up again, utilizing those tools to just give you some thoughts and inspiration, I think is really helpful.
and it is not a matter of putting everything on AI and make AI talk for you
Nope.
or anything. It is a matter to use it as a tool, right?
As a tool, absolutely. We all need them.
Yes.
We all need those tools. And, next month it'll be a different tool we need. It's, and again, the resiliency, the innovation.
It's just keeping up with
It's
it.
keeping up, yes, yes. And not feeling overwhelmed by it or burdened by it. Because I do think that, sometimes new innovation can make you feel like it's a burden to now learn it. And I just learned this other thing. Now I got to learn this. But then, once you do, then you're all of a sudden climbing again, taking your business to the next level, right?
And then you feel so good,
It
like
feels so good.
like I passed through
I
all of this,
mastered it,
but
right.
now I know how to talk with this thing.
Exactly.
Now, I have a question. I know we're facing challenging times. That's how I like to call it, so I can keep the positive going.
Right.
Are you guys how are you guys planning on supporting these businesses that might be affected, that are
Yeah, they are
being
affected right now.
right
Yes,
now?
yeah.
Well, certainly we are partnering in collaboration with organizations that have a lot of resources, that are focusing in on different aspects of the issues we're facing. And so we're not looking to duplicate any of the efforts of the great organizations. But what we are doing is saying, here are the resources that they have made available. Here's how you can use those. We think that's important. We can certainly go to the broader business community, the broader community of Washington County, and say, hey, it's great. You need to do business with small businesses. Our Latino community is especially hurt right now. Come and do business with them and make sure that you're spending your dollars locally. We can broaden that customer base and make sure that people know that you're open for business. You've got wonderful, I'm looking around this beautiful market and I'm like, beautiful things, right? And so encouraging people to come out and really support with what the most important thing that our Latino community needs right now, and that's financial security. They need to be able to feed their families.
Yeah.
They need to be able to make sure that their kids can go to school and can be fed. All of those things are important, and we're really a lifeline to making that happen.
That's great. I have a question. I really want to ask you. You are in that in that privileged position of seeing exactly how the Latino business community is contributing to the city. Can you tell us like a little bit of the numbers there?
I don't have numbers off the top of my head, but what I will tell you is that, if just even looking at this place and what sort of economic development is happening here, right? This is what makes our communities great, are the ability for businesses to come in, to work with our community, to sell their products, to make a profit. I said that, make a profit. There's nothing wrong with a business making a profit. Sometimes we hear that, it's, oh man, they're just for profit. Well, we're all for profit,
Yeah.
right? Not a bad thing. It's a good thing. And so, definitely, and I think not only from a financial perspective, but it's from a cultural perspective as well. We started our Latino Cultural Festival 20 years ago. And I will tell you, there were not many people that looked like me that went to the festival. And if you go to our festival in July of next year, you will see it is the face of our community. And so that to me is, again, how they're contributing, is they are the fabric of our community. What was said 20 years ago, and I was completely, what are you talking about? I get it now. I understand it. And to me, to be a part of that change, a part of that growth, what an honor. What an honor.
Thank you so much. I want to acknowledge that you are being kind of behind the scene. Probably people don't know that you are being pushing all these events and being supporting those events, and it is really appreciated.
Even these positive messages that we're trying to get out there.
Yes.
You know, and to have businesses to come to the chambers now more than ever, because, you know, we're growing and our community is growing, and so we need the help.
Right. Yes.
With knowledge, with, you know, surround ourselves with people that know this place and
Sometimes
to help us grow.
it's just to say, like, everything is going to be okay.
Exactly.
And you don't know how many life can you change with just a
And I
simple
feel like
message.
I can say this, the Chambers of Commerce from Washington County, it's a safe place to come and say everything is going to be okay.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I think we're
Yeah.
towards
Can you
the
can you
end.
tell us like a final message if you want to, like?
I would say that the Washington County Chamber is welcoming. We have a phenomenal staff with a deep understanding and expertise. We have 2 bilingual staff members that speak Spanish, so definitely the welcoming can be in your own language. And oftentimes business principles are difficult, and it's difficult if English is not your primary language, right? And so having someone talk to you about getting your business started, growing your business at the chamber is the place that can help you do that, and we can help you get connected. We are a safe place, and we're a safe place for your business. We're a safe place for you and the community, and to be a part of the community. And if you're looking for an opportunity for leadership, if you're looking like, I might want to run for office, we can help you with that too.
Well, thank you so much. It's
Thank
been an
you.
honor to have you.
Thank you so
and,
much.
Such a first episode to start this
Oh my goodness,
new
yes.
season, and thank you all of you for being there, for having this good message for us. We really appreciate it, and hope that you join us in this journey of meeting these people who is behind the scenes, and they need to be brought to the front and put it in your table, in your phones, or wherever you are using to see us or hear us. But thank you for your time.
And we're going to leave the information for the Washington County Chambers of Commerce for you to explore. It's in your language, but like Diana said, they have bilingual stuff. And if you have any questions, we're also here to answer questions, because
Yes.
I feel blessed to be part of the Washington County Chambers of Commerce.
Excellent. And that's exactly that, understanding what we do and then sharing that message. We so appreciate that. Thank you so much for this honor of having me be a part of this. It truly, and share the message. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you, Diana.
Thank you, Diana, for
And
being here.
until the next time, bye.
Thursdays.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you
so much, Diana.